Hello. Welcome to my channel. Subscribe.
The first lie was small enough to ignore. I'm heading to Mom's. She hasn't been feeling great. It fit the rhythm of our life, so I let it pass. Then Mom's needed her 4 weekends in a row, and somehow my wife always returned, with hair sprayed perfect and a perfume that smelled more like a bar than a medicine cabinet. I didn't yell. I listened. The house tells on you if you let it. 2 champagne flutes tucked behind the cereal. A second phone charger by the basement outlet where she never sits. A receipt for gas on a highway we don't take to her mother's place. The day it shifted from suspicion to certainty. She texted, "I'll crash at Mom's, too late to drive back." Her mother replied to the family group chat that night with a photo of a crossword and her cat sleeping across the paper. The timestamp said 8:42 p.m. The living room lamp in the shot. I zoomed in and saw the glass-fronted bookcase I'd built. That dingo dovetail joints, a bow at the left door I always meant to fix. The cat photo felt like a flashlight in my face. Claire was at her mom's. She wasn't in that room when the picture was taken. Her mother lives alone and would have mentioned company. I slept on the couch and decided I was done being the last one in my own story to get the plot. The next morning, I installed a GPS tracker in the car we both drive. Nothing fancy, magnetic, weatherproof, the kind that pings a map when you ask it to. It's a shared vehicle, insured in both names, and I was tracking my property. I set the updates to 15 minutes and waited for the map to teach me what my gut already knew. Friday night, it's to 12 p.m. A dot left our street, took the highway not toward her mother's, but west exited near the old rail yard, wound through 3 blocks of new-build townhomes, and stopped. The map named the street. The building security camera caught headlights washing brick. My chest went cold in that still way ice is cold. Not dramatic, just absolute. I drove by without parking. You don't need to stand under a meteor, to know it's falling. I noted the building number and the unit buzzer, 3B. I knew the building. A friend from church had helped frame it. The man in 3B, I'd soon learn, was someone we both knew far too well. Before that, I gathered proof. I checked our shared cloud. She'd turned off backups for messages, but calendars slip her work schedule showed an off-site planning session that lined up exactly with the GPS in front of 3B. 2 days later, the dot appeared again. I took a slow lap of the block. Her car was there, backed in the way fast leavers do. The plan came to me while I was scrolling a furniture site at midnight, hunting for a replacement for a wobbly coffee table. A banner said, "White-gloved delivery signature required proof of delivery. Video available for insurance." I clicked. The terms were clear. The crew records for liability, and a link to the footage gets emailed to the purchaser. Liability video. Signatures. Names. Dates. My hand steadied on the mouse. I ordered the biggest, most obvious items you could force through a door. A 17-inch TV, a low media console, and a compact sofa. I picked gift and added a card. "Happy early birthday. Couldn't wait. See? I used our joint credit card. She was an authorized user. The bill would come to me, which was the point." I scheduled delivery for a weekday morning when I knew she claimed she'd be taking Mom to the clinic. I ticked the box for SMS delivery window notifications. A gift is just a box with timing wrapped around it. I sent an email to the building's management asking to add my number to the intercom for a scheduled delivery to 3B. I kept it bland. They added it without fuss. Then I called the person who sits inside every story like a lit fuse, the man in 3B. I didn't know his address. Then I did. And the name popped into focus. Evan, a friend at least, the kind you see at barbecues, who helped us move a treadmill once, whose laugh was a little too loud when my wife told jokes, I thought, were just ours. I saved his number a decade ago under Evan's stupid strong back, and there it was, still accurate in a way I hadn't meant. I didn't call. I drew a circle around that impulse and locked it in a drawer. 2 days before delivery, I sent my wife a text from our shared grocery list app. Costco run Thursday. They finally have the good paper towels. I knew she had Mom on her calendar. She replied with a red heart and yes, but I might be late. Depends how Mom feels. The heart might as well have been a rubber stamp. Delivery day. Kate, the truck, called at 9:10 a.m., 30 minutes out. I parked a block away where a row of maples could hide a man who looks like he belongs to nobody. When the truck swung onto the street, I felt a strange calm, like the moment before a storm hits when even the birds go quiet. The delivery guys did their dance ramp. Dolly, boxes stacked like promises. The intercom rang my phone. I buzzed them. In, through the front glass, I watched a woman I knew better than anyone step into the lobby with a paper coffee tray and a smile she used to save for me. She wore the sweater I once called her Lucky Navy. She looked more alive than she had in months. That almost broke me. Then I remembered the basement charger and the flutes. Evan appeared from the stairwell with his ridiculous grin. Met halfway and touched like they didn't care who saw. The delivery crew rolled by them, and one guy said, 3B. Evan pointed and said, "Yep, that's us. That's us." It's like a new name for our old house. They held the door. Look boxes. Entered. Signatures were required. Sign here for the TV, the crew lead said, holding out a tablet. Claire reached first. Name? He asked, glancing at the card taped to the box. Claire, she said, then hesitated. It's a gift from, and stopped before she spoke my name. The lead nodded, unconcerned by moral arithmetic. I didn't film them with my phone. I wanted the company's video, the angle with the logo in the frame, the timestamp, the neutral witness of commerce. I wanted the litigiously boring truth. White glove means they take it out of the box and plug it in. The crew worked while Claire and Evan laughed too much. When the TV came to life, the home screen glowed like dawn across their faces. The crew asked where to put the sofa. There, Claire said, pointing to a spot that made no sense for a room unless you intend to watch. A lot of television with the blinds closed. Any trash? The crew asked, and the pair said, all of it, like it was a vow. Then came the receipt. The lead attached the printed card to the clipboard so it wouldn't get lost. The card I had typed. Claire read it and smiled the way you smile when you're 13 and a boy writes your name in a notebook corner. Evan said, you didn't have to, and Claire said, I wanted to. The lie was perfect, as lies go. The door closed. The truck left. Within an hour, my email pinged. Your proof of delivery video is available. I watched it once, then downloaded it. It showed everything that mattered and nothing that didn't. No bedroom. No kissing under blankets. Just the homely scandal of signatures on a weekday morning. I drove home, made a sandwich I didn't taste, and wrote 3 messages. The first went to Claire, a link to the video in a single line. This is the only explanation I need. I blocked her number before she could respond because I didn't want her to shape my next hour with tears or rage or bargains. The second went to Evan, the same link. The subject line, 3B, no text in the body. I let the silence do the job. Captions usually do. The third went to a small group, her mother, her sister, Evan's ex. It's 2 couples who had eaten at our table enough to know the grooves on our cutting board, and my lawyer. BCC, I'm letting you know we're separating. I wrote, please don't speculate. This video explains the factual part. I'm trying to keep this simple and kind, but I won't be drawn into arguments about whether the camera angle is fair. I braced for the replies. They came in flurries. A gasp emoji from her sister, followed by call me, a polite full sentence. Note from her mother, 3-word message from Evan's ex that said, of course, him. At 3:07 p.m., my phone rang from a number I didn't recognize. It was the delivery company's quality assurance department, who always follow up on white glove deliveries, the woman chirped. I laughed, not unkindly, and said it was perfect. I meant it in a way she couldn't possibly understand. That night, slept at a friend's guest room and woke lighter than I deserved to feel. The next days were loud, then quiet. Claire showed up at our door with her keys like a talisman. "We can talk," she said, breathless, "the way you are when you raise your excuses up the stairs." "There's nothing to talk about," I said, opening the door only as far as politeness required. "You don't understand," she said. "I understand signatures," I said. She tried the other scripts. "We've been unhappy. We drifted. It just happened. It isn't serious." "It is serious. It's over." "It's not really over," I said, the only line that felt clean. "You took a future that wasn't yours to furnish, right?" She stared like I'd spoken a language she'd almost learned and then forgot because it wasn't fun. Evan called twice from a number labeled spam risk. He left one voicemail that began, "Man, be reasonable, okay?" and ended with the sound of a door closing and someone else's voice saying, "Who are you even talking to?" I saved it and then deleted it because I don't need artifacts from people who think reason is a coupon. The legal part was simple because I'd done the boring work before the dramatic day. I'd opened a separate account. I'd moved tools I owned outright. I'd locked down credit cards. We met at mediation with lawyers who had seen every version of our faces and still wanted to treat us like new characters. They divided chairs and spoons and weeks of holidays like seconds in a clock. I asked for the house and bought out her share with money I would have spent on therapy trying to sleep next to someone who looked like Claire and sounded like the person in the video. She kept her car. We split her retirement in a way that made sense to the math and not to my heart. I didn't ask a judge to punish her for cheating. Ohio doesn't care. I punished myself less by choosing not to live in the story where I keep explaining myself to someone who doesn't believe facts unless they flatter her. The furniture bill came due. I paid it. Revenge you can afford is the only kind worth doing. The line item sits on my statement like a caption. Delivery 3B. Sometimes I look at it and smile the way you smile at a scar that proves you weren't wrong about a fire. 2 weeks after she moved out, a package arrived at my door. Inside was a clear plastic bag containing a set of keys and a navy sweater. No note. Just wait. I put the keys in a drawer and the sweater in the donation bin. Evan moved the TV to the wall opposite the window. No, because the building's listing site updated with photos when he put the place up for rent 3 months later. The media console stayed. The sofa had a coffee stain. There was a pale rectangle on the wall where a picture once hung. The listing said, "No drama, just need to relocate for work." People write fictions into their own lives so they don't have to respect the genre they're actually in. Claire told a mutual friend that what hurt the most wasn't the divorce or the silence or the way her mother stared at her hands instead of her face at Sunday lunch. It was the part where I didn't raise my voice. "You didn't even try to win me back," she said, like my refusal to beg was the unforgivable sin. The friend told me this as if I'd want to fix it. I nodded and said, "I didn't know we were auctioning. I still check that map sometimes out of habit." The dot goes ordinary places now work. The grocery store, the gym where I lift weights that feel like problems I can actually solve. The townhomes on that street look the same every day from the outside. Behind doors, sofas, and televisions, and promises move around like weather. The only thing you can anchor to is what you won't put up for sale. I took back the basement. I cleaned out the dusty shelves and set up a small bench. I built a crude media console out of scrap wood that looks better than the expensive one because I can see the mistakes and know which are mine. I invited 2 friends over and we watched a game. our feet on a coffee table that doesn't wobble anymore. And when the ad came on for the furniture store with smiling white glove crews, I laughed the loudest. I didn't explain. Some jokes. You keep. People ask what the revenge was. They want the splashy answer, the movie scene. Here it is. I believed the truth would be enough, and then I built a place in my house where the truth could live without me apologizing to it. I turned their perfect basement into a room where my friends laugh and where I sleep through the night. I paid the bill they earned and kept the home they tried to give away. Sometimes, when the dryer hums and the house is quiet, I rewatch the proof for delivery video. Not to hurt myself, to remember the exact moment a pen hit a screen and a person wrote their own name under a sentence they believed I'd never read. It keeps me honest, keeps me from pretending I'm a victim in a story where I got to choose the ending. I chose the door that opened back into my life.